Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is lesson 3, part 4, and let's continue what we were talking about last time. And we start Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim wa bis-salah ala Rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We were examining the letters from the third angle, which is there any airflow with the sound while pronouncing each letter? And let's have an example here. Let's examine those 3 letters. Okay, and let us see the comparison between them. In our previous classes, we studied some of the letter characteristics. Okay, and today we will see its effect on the exit point of each letter. So we are going to examine those 3 letters and see its effect on the exit point. And we will compare between those 3 letters, Jim, Sheen, Ya. But the Ya that's unlengthened, not the sukun Ya with a kasra before it. This is harf min huruf al-mad. No, we are going to examine the unlengthened Ya, which takes a fatha or a kasra or a dhamma. Now have a look at the articulation drawing of each letter. Before I go to the next slide, we know that the 3 letters are emitted from the middle tongue against the upper palate. Okay, so what differentiate between them if they are articulated from the same place? What is the difference? If I have any letters, 2 letters, 3 letters that share the same articulation point, they are exiting from the same place. So how come they have different sounds? What makes them different? The characters. Their characters. Okay? Now let's have a look now. Here we have excuse me. Now, in the Jim, let's have a look at the Jim here. The exit point is closed. If we look here, yes, the exit point is closed. So both parts, the middle part, tongue, with the upper palate meet, and they totally close. So this is when the Jim is pronounced. This is why the Jim is a hard letter. It's one of the hard letters, strong letters, huruf shadida, right? And we did gather these letters in ajid, qit, bakat, right? So the Jim is one of them. It's one of the letters where there is total closure of the articulation points. But if we have a look at the Sheen and the Ya, and they exit from exactly the same place, the middle part of the tongue against the upper palate, what do we find? When we pronounce the Sheen and the Ya, we notice that the path is opened. There is an opening here. There's an opening here, right? So the path here is opened while it's closed here. So this is why the Jim is shadida, and both these letters have rakhawa, because the articulation point allows the flow of the sound. So this is why they have rakhawa. There's no closure in the articulation points of these 2, although it's the same points used to pronounce the 3 letters. What differs the Sheen from the Ya? Now we know what differs the Jim from both of these, but what differs the Sheen from the Ya? They have the same rakhawa, they have the same character. the sound runs. But what is the difference between this and that one? Otherwise, they will sound the same, right? So in the sheen, the air flows. In the sheen, the air flows without vocal cords vibration. We say ash. Put your finger on the vocal cords down there in the throat and put your palm, the other hand, in front of your mouth and pronounce the sheen. Ash. No vocal cord vibration, but there's a lot of air allowed to run. What about if we say ay? Just notice, just feel ay. There is a vocal cord vibration, but is there any air flowing? If we say yeah, ye, you, we do notice some vibration in the vocal cords while pronouncing the yeah. And there was an airflow with the sheen. So the sheen has this whispering character, while the yeah has no airflow, and this means that it is apparent. So the jim is shadida, strong, total closure of the articulation points. The sheen and the ya, they are open, so they have rakhawa. The sheen has air flow with the sound, but the ya doesn't have, so it's apparent. Okay, now those three letters join in the same articulation point, but they differ from each other according to their character difference. Let's have another example. Let's go to this is the conclusion, jim, sheen, and ya. The jim is shadida, it's hard, strong, and the sheen and the ya, they are soft. The sound runs, while the jim, the sound just is stuck. It terminates. But is there any vocal cord vibration? Yes, with the jim, yes. With the ya, yes. So they both have this apparent character, but there's no vocal cord vibration with the sheen because it has this airflow, hums. Okay? So this is the difference. This is how we say this is the difference between the different letters. They are emitted from the same place, but what differs between them is their characteristics. Okay. We will have another example and compare between the following letters, the ta, the dal, and the ta. Now the three letters are also emitted from the same articulation point. What is their articulation point? They are the tip of the tongue against the roots of the top two incisors. We say ta, da, ta, exactly the same place, but there is a difference in sound between them. Okay? طرف اللسان, we say طرف اللسان, the tip of the tongue, مع أصول الثنايا العليا, with the roots of the top two incisors. Okay? Where the roots of the both upper two teeth. Okay? So let us just have a look here. Let us pronounce them quickly without qalqala, because the ta has qalqala. The letters that have the letters that are shadida, where the makhraj closes, they have qalqala, okay? And or hams, right? Let's pronounce them. Let's say up, Okay, let's say ad. Okay, let's say at. They all have this. They have a common exit, and they have a common character. Okay, because the exit point is totally closed in the 3 letters, right? So what differs between them? We experienced this with the letter Jim. We said the Jim is hard because its exit is closed. And the same here, the exit of the 3 letters is closed. And they are therefore hard letters too, the 3 of them. You know, in the case of the Jim, the Ya, the Sheen, the exit was opened in the Sheen and the Ya. But here, the exit is totally closed in the 3 of them. Now let's dig deeper. They have a common exit and a common character, right? They have a common exit and a common character, which is shidda, hardness. What differentiates them from each other? They do have different sounds. What differs the ta from the other 2? First of all, what differs the ta from the other 2? Let's say ta, da, ta. Again, ta, da, ta. Notice the sound direction. In the ta, it actually goes towards the upper palate. Then it's a heavy letter, حرف مستعلي. به تفخيم, okay? It's a heavy letter, ta, but we say ta, da. Does the same happens with the dal and the ta? No. Then they are lowered. So this is one difference. Ta is heavy and the dal and the ta are lower letters. So the ta, the sound heads towards the upper palate, the sound direction, while the dal and the ta, the sound just goes outside the mouth. Now what happens? And we did explain last time the 3 the 3 conditions for a heavy letter, and the ta has these, okay? Okay. Let us, and as I mentioned last time, there's a question here. Is the rising of the furthermost tongue, is it a reason enough to cause the heaviness of the letters so that we can call this letter heavy? No, it's not enough. And we mentioned this actually in the letter kaf, for example. Okay, we say ka, ak. Actually, the furthermost part rises up to pronounce the letter, but still the sound isn't heavy. You know what? In the lengthened ya, for example, in the lengthened waw, al-waw al-maddiya, the furthermost tongue, as I mentioned earlier also, it rises, but the waw isn't a heavy letter also. Okay, the waw and the dhamma, remember when I said this? So therefore, to cause the heaviness in the letter, so the rising of the sound, we need 2 things are required: the rising of the furthermost tongue, while the middle tongue takes a concave. Remember, the rising of the furthermost and the middle part of the tongue takes a concave shape, and the narrowing of the throat. These are 3 things, you know, the rising of the furthermost, the middle tongue takes a concave shape, and the throat narrows. So for the sound to rise upwards, it needs a path to go through it. And notice when pronouncing the letter ta, for example, what is the sound path that causes it to be heavy? The sound path goes and strikes, it rises up to the upper palate, and the epiglottis moves backwards and it narrows the path of the throat, and it forces the sound to move in a narrow path, then rises towards the upper palate. Now we did mention all this, okay? And it collides there while the middle tongue is concave, allowing the sound to spread in the mouth. So heaviness, and there's another word for heaviness, magnification, okay, tafkhim, and the translation of it is fattening, simn, simn, that occurs to the letters. Simn means fattening, occurs to the letters so that the mouth gets filled with its echo as a result of its narrowing of the throat, and the rise of the sound of the letter up to the dome of the palate, the upper palate, which is the outcome of isti'ala. Okay? Now, so what is the character that distinct the letter ta from the dal and the ta? It's heavy. Okay? Now, what distincts the dal from the ta? The dal from the ta. The dal has jahr, while the ta has whisper. The dal, there's no air accompanies the dal when we pronounce it. We say da, but we say ta, ta. There is air with there is hams in the ta, but there is jahr with the dal. Now notice that whispering character is always accompanied with the ta, always with the ta, okay? Many say that the kaf and the ta are only whispered when they are sukoon, but this is wrong. It's a character that accompanies the kaf and the ta in all cases. Okay, so this is a conclusion to what we were saying. Now they are all huruf shadida. Does the sound direction rises upwards in all of them? No, it's just with the ta, but not with the dal and the ta. So the ta is mustaliya, it's heavy, but the dal and the ta is light. So what differs? What is common with the ta and the dal? It has jahr, there's no air in both of these letters, but the ta has hams. Okay, so jahr is the opposite of hams. So this is how we examine the letters. This is how we tackle the letters, okay, so that we understand more and more. Next time, inshallah. Now, you know, this is a question that we will talk about also later. What happens if we strip the letter ta from its whispering character? Many will say that the letters ta and kaf only have whispering character. I just mentioned this, when they are sukoon. And what do you think? Of course not. Okay? This character is always with the ta and the kaf. Now the ta and the dal, they both exit from the same place, right? Both share similar characteristics. They are strong, they are lowered, and they are open. We're going to talk about this opening character. They differ that the ta has whispering character, while the dal has the opposite, which is apparent. Okay? Now we are going to end our lesson 3 now, and inshallah we will meet next week with lesson number 4. I wish you all the best, and I wish you all the best in the quiz, inshallah. Take good care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.